to this computer. And good. Okay, welcome everyone to the Thursday, December 3rd, 2015. It's the 90th Knowledge Seekers Workshop, continued with questions and answers and more discussion by Mr. Keshe for this afternoon's teaching, which is usually private but is open to the public today. Okay. Let's see if Mr. Keshe is ready to go. We're not quite ready with the
We are ready.
yours.
Beep, beep. We are ready.
Is the okay? We have some kind of picture coming in there now. Looks like it has an alien on it.
Yeah, it looks like Rick Crammond
Oh, it is. I couldn't recognize myself for a minute there.
from Planet Zeus.
Yes. I think you know how to push the magic button. There we go. Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to put it. It's coming. I'm getting taught tricks with this board now.
Oh yes, you're becoming the master of the board here. It's
No,
a
this.
joy to watch, actually, Mr. Keshe. The drawings and so on.
I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm learning.
We're gonna make them into T-shirts.
We're ready to go.
I believe so. We're on right now, actually. So
Okay.
go ahead.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good day to you as usual. Whenever and wherever you listen to us. Usually we have as Rick said, Tuesday afternoon a closed session, but I was away whole week this week, so instead of Tuesday afternoon, I wasn't here to keep it open. If you have any question to ask, and we see if we can answer. Are there any questions from this morning, or did you wipe everything out that there is no question?
I've got a chat saved here from the chat part of the questions, and there are some questions there. People may have to re-enter some of them. We could begin at one. Let's see if I can get back to it here.
Do you see Alex on your board anywhere?
Don't see him there right now.
Okay. We're expecting him here today, but he hasn't arrived yet. Okay, the question, please.
There was a question. I can't find it right now immediately, but there was one of the first questions that someone's had was regarding using electrical current to create the nano coating in the coils, using a 12-volt heavy current and heating up the wire that way, instead of using the torch method. And they were wondering if that was an acceptable method to create the nano coating.
This has been done. This electric current creating nanomaterials, especially GaNs, is something we do in the factory for production of mass production of nanomaterials.
In this case, it would be quite a heavy current, enough to heat up the wire to near red hot, enough to create the coating, the copper oxide, nano coating on it.
We lose our circle. The nano coating can be produced, and other point is you can do this in a vacuum condition. You can create a vacuum and add a current to it in a nano layer. You achieve a more uniform nano layers, but it can be done. Effectiveness of it, as long as you produce nanomaterial, is effective. To what extent and how you can do it? When you create nanomaterials through current, you have already limited part of the structure of the plasma of the nano coating to the limitation of the current. When you create nanomaterial with caustic, you create a different condition for the plasma position of each electron and a proton, and as a total as an atomic gas structure. When you do with the heating, is the same. So the effectiveness of electric current to be used coating nano is on a plasma level of the electron. But if you nano coat with the plasma itself, then you work in the plasma level of the atomic structure, molecular structure of the gans of the material which you produce, or the nanomaterial which you produce. It is a way it's done, shouldn't be much difference, but it gives you a different performance. We use it quite heavily in mass production. I was looking at it yesterday in the factory. What we do, we blow air into the liquid. Once we produce the GANS material, as it gets separated, it's like a fish tank blowers blowing air in to create not copper, but it produces copper oxide GANS. Very much like the way we do with CO2. We absorb the CO2 and then it gets added to it. This way we blow air into the system. It's a very rapid process. We produce 3-4 kilos of copper oxide a day.
And what about the idea of putting electrical power?
Our Canadian guy was asleep. He just woke up. He wants to repeat. Yes.
Okay. We can't hear the question.
Please, Francois wants to know what is the difference between the nano coating, how you nano coat with fire, with electricity, and the rest. There is a document written by Benjamin of Ghana, Benjamin, Keshe Foundation Ghana. He's written a document. I don't know if it's still on the website or it's going to be put up. It's one of the papers. He's explained everything, how to nano coat with different material. We were just speaking to him a few minutes ago downstairs. He wrote the book or the document before he leaves to go now, about 3 months ago. I have it on my file somewhere. It's going to go on the Keshe Foundation website somewhere. Different ways of nano coating. It's a very healthy, very correct way written.
So many people are wondering, is it necessary to like polarize the coils after the fire nano coating with a meter and so on to either put, some people are putting power in while they do the fire coating process, and other people are using the meter afterwards to either put energy in or to draw the electrons out or draw the power out as well. There's
you can do, if you like, with the heating process. There's no problem because you already dictated through the condition of the flow of the gas burning.
Right. The rotation, the rotation while heating the process.
The rotation and the way you follow the what you call the nano coating along the pipe.
Mm-hmm. So there's no need for additional polarization or meter work.
You can do it, but we don't see it, not up to now.
Okay, that's good because a lot of people
can
have that
still do
question.
it. We done it yesterday when we were nano coating, but it's not necessary. I still do some work, unfortunately. I do make things to test. And I was yesterday making things to test. Yes, it's a question. Shall we use microphone?
Hello? Yes. I was explaining to Francois that the coating by fire is for energy. The coating by caustic is for the body.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Okay, so I'm going by the teachings that
you can use you cannot say specifically for that job.
Okay.
Yeah. We done a test run where we had 6 coils. We put them in a caustic, very rapid, took it out, and then fire coated it. Tried to nano coat with fire. In a way, create a very thin layer of caustic nano, and then use the fire to speed it up. And it worked out totally the other way around. It's very hard once you created a nanocaustic coating to do the fire coating. It takes longer. No, it doesn't work. It just destroys it. It just destroys it. Because there is a process. I've done this before. It doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes what happened, if you look at it, the nano coating, which is on the top, you have created it. When you put in a caustic, these become part of the GANs. It's the same. Later it cools down, you still have the same problem. Yeah, I've tested this, but maybe I did the wrong way, but it seems to be the problem. Yeah, it turns black if you want it.
If you do more.
Yeah, if you do it, but don't forget the nano coating you saw done today. It's a very specific way, and even if that's why I said stop looking at the physical condition, have a look at the nano coating, the coils. When the nano coating of the coil is done, here, if I can put it this way, you have fields interacting of two coils, and here you have the interaction of here you have the interaction of two coils too. So what you have gravitational magnetic field of this, you have gravitational magnetic field of this, and then you have gravitational magnetic field of this layer, and you have this layer, and then what you have on top, as we explained before, the gravitational magnetic field of the two. Explained this last week. But there is a problem which part of the process when you do the coil winding is every notch here, if you take this notch, is a peak and has a south pole to the one next door too. It's very complicated. It's not so easy because this pitch with this pitch now has a connection with this one south pole and this one north pole, and then with the one inside. Every coil, every turn of a coil, you take, and then you have a very, very strange effect. This is what I'm trying to get you to see, then you understand. This is the inside coil, sorry, the outside coil, and inside this sits another coil like this. Go down. This is if you go between the two, you have this combination inside each other. So you have on the outside of it interaction between these two, and getting more and more complicated working with this board. And then you have interaction between this, and you have this one. What you have with this and with this, you have this with this and with this. So it's a very, even though it looks as a static, is a turbulence inside the tube. It's a magnetic turbulence. If you learn how to use this turbulence, you can dictate the speed of the leakage at the end of your tube. What do you want to collect? Slowly, I'll teach you how to use this. But if you look at it, because it's not a tube, it's a ring. But the problem is all the rings are continuously connected to each other. That is why the direction of the flow is important. It's like if you put a dam in the middle of it or not. When you get it, the direction has to be perfectly correct. So nano coating by, what do you call it, by fire dictates the term. When you start nano coating by plasma, then you see a perfect job. Absolutely perfect job. If you any of you did the coating on a Coca-Cola bottle with a parachute with a wire coming out, what used to happen in the parachutes, we call it the parachutes, when you had a Coca-Cola bottle like this, and then you had the parachute, I used to put silicone here that was airtight, nothing could leak. What you could see, if I put this here, you see better, what we could see, it was airtight. But how could, after a few days, you could see the nano coating used to start running up. The plasmatic nano coating is so refined, and you can't rub it off so easy. When you nano coat, you are worried. But if you do a plasmatic nano coating, the minute you touch it, it's diamond structure. It's so shiny, it slips. It's a different way than caustic coating. With a caustic coating, you have residual. You feed it. With most of the, what do you call, plasmatic condition, because what I used to do, most of you have seen it, if this was a Coca-Cola bottle, this was totally sealed. And what you see, the structure is so fine that it nanocoats and it finds is a space in the structure of the nanomaterial of its own elements to nanocoat. It's like it seeps through underneath and it nanocoats and it comes up from inside out. Where with caustic and with the heating, you nanocoat from the top layer. There it comes out. It's one of the most, we did a structure test with the University of Ghent, and because the professor there wanted to use it for a brake pad of a 200 kilogram car. When we came to use it, he said, this is a problem because the holes are so perfect. It became literally like a disc, you know, the bicycles, the new disc bicycles have holes in them for a speed of rotation to brake faster. It's already built in. If you want to use a nanomaterial with a plasma condition for, what do you call it, for lubrication, is one of the best. But if you want to use nano coating from caustic, forget about it. It's full of holes that it got to be filled in, so you have a problem. You have a friction. You don't create a lubrication very smooth. But if you want the lubrication very smooth, you do plasma coating. You create it from the plasma itself. You all have seen plasma coating, but because you don't understand it, you never bothered to or never understood it, you have overlooked it. Any of you did a test with Coca-Cola bottle and you put a caustic in and you left your thing, you left your thing and you forgot. Usually it used to be like this with me. I used to put the electrode at the end of it to measure between different electrodes. This coating is totally different than caustic or electric coating. It's very smooth. It goes very fast, shiny like diamond. You can use the property for like a Teflon. It's more graphene than graphite. It's sp3 more. You create more sp3. This is that's why when we gave the first parachute to IMAC, they could see sp3 on it because the structure comes from inside. Vaporizes on a atomic plasmatic, not a vapor to create heat. It's very interesting. Just try and go back again to the, some of you who did the Coca-Cola bottle, do it again, seal it totally, because I used to use a hot glue, so there was no chance. And after 2 or 3 days, I haven't done anything. It's impossible to be open, but you see, you blow it, there is no air coming that you say it could be a leakage. But you see plasma creating inside the metal its own layering coming up. And it's very shiny. It becomes a brown, shiny, soft, with hardly any nano material that can take it out. It's not convincing. Plasma nanocoating is totally different. And the problem with it is if you create a, or do a, what do you call, the crab claw measurements, crocodile claw, you call it, to grab the wire. If it's too tight and it goes through the nanomaterial, then you see your meter doesn't work after 2 or 3 times. The reading goes all over the place. Because nano coating with a plasma creates a different kind of current, AC/DC at the same time inside the same material, meter cannot read. I haven't seen it with a lot of other kind of nano coating, but somehow with the plasma coating you have this. When you start using plasma, be careful. You got to create new, I used to do it. What you got to do is to create a new kind of claw, which is flat. The hinge on. You need something like this, that you do not break up the nano coating, the plasma nano coating, because it can break into, it's just like clawing in all your nanomaterial. Whenever you want to measure or connect from now on, use a claw, a flat claw, not the crocodile claw with the teeth on it, because the teeth breaks into the. One of the easiest way to do, I use paper clips. Just get the paper clips and connect the, what do you call it, crocodile claw to the end of it. Then you don't damage your, and then you only work in DC. You don't work in DC and AC, because all of you know, when you make a nanomaterial, especially on a wire, when you make it like this, and then you have a coating. Oh, where did this go? It says undo, undo. Okay. This has got 2. Ah, grazie. I've got everything here, but I don't know. It's a very complicated board. Where did that come from? How do you put it away and how do you bring it back? It's okay. 2 days back, no problem. What happens when you have your material like this? And your nano coating is like this. Never use a crocodile claw, which is these thingies. They're allocator claws, you call it, like this. What happened? You cut in a DC and an AC. Matter state gives you AC flow, nanomaterial state gives you a DC flow. So you never use crocodile. The best way I used to do it is just use a paper clip and then connect the paper clip to the claw. Because then you find you save your meter and that sits literally here. A lot of you make a lot of mistakes, and you've got to learn how to avoid these little mistakes when you take a measurement. You see a measurement floats, fluctuates quite a lot. Try to see if it does, if you don't use a claw and just measure from the AC or a DC. Because in your testing, you've done this before, is that when you made your Allen beads, the Alex beads, when you connect the wire to your plugs, you have a positive, negative, on your line, and then you have an earth connection on the plug. If you connect any of your power coming from the power unit to one of the earth condition, use one of the two as an earth condition, you will see immediately gives you AC oscillation. If you're looking for oscillation but very slow, cut into the matter state. Because as the plasma tries to force itself into a matter state, it has to overcome a gap to go through. And with the copper gives you a very nice sinusoidal flow. We taught this a long time ago in the teachings, but if you've forgotten, it's just to remind you. If you do that, you can use it even in what we spoke about the coils this morning, to make different coils of different gravitational field strength. You can cut into the layer, touch the metal, create an earth condition. As long as there's a potential difference in plasma, you can create an AC running into it. You can give it life. Yes, we produce a pulse, but pulse is not so easy to produce. Producing a pulse, the innovation team does at the moment produce a plus minus 0.5 on a regular basis. We do that. But in the plasma technology, the last thing you want, most of the time, is a sinusoidal, because then you can't control.
Mr. Keshe, I think we might have lost your audio there. Just let the
You're back.
Yes, we hear you now.
Okay, thank
Good.
you very much. This is the uncharged one here. So what I was saying is that in plasma, you always look for a step fault, one to the other, because if you can increase gravitational magnetic field in the steps like this, then you can dictate at what strength gravity, what the strength magnetic field you want, and you can dictate what you get at the outcome. You don't look for a, you look for a pulse. It's like a heartbeat in one go. And most of the planets have that heartbeat. That heartbeat dictates the maximum gravitational field that they accept. That's why they dictate what materials can stay on what planet. Composite planets like Earth are very, very rare. Difficult. Don't forget the planet is the dictator, is the creator, with a gravitational magnetic field which creates through its own internal strength. And when you create the internal strength, gravitational magnetic field, you have a time of turn. And that time of turn is not, that is the heartbeat of the planet. And it happens quite frequently. If you listen into a space, you can hear the heartbeat of the stars, planet, and in some cases, it's not much different than the heartbeat of a child inside the womb of the mother. It has its own rhythm. It doesn't go, it will phase change. Polarity change, it goes like this. Phase change is very square. This comes from the plasma state of the matter. This comes from the matter state of the matter. You will understand this very soon. If you can mix the two together, you can have the material you want. If you're dealing with emotion, you go for a square. Remember, when you get shock, is in one go, isn't it? Oh, emotion works the behavior. One carries the emotion, or it's the same combination of two. Yeah, very much on the edge. Sometimes very good close, but sometimes a little bit too far. But somewhere in between. Any other question?
Sure. Let me see here. Where can we start? Wad the heck asked, with roots, are we emulating the bone or nano layer, and marrow or plasma layer?
Depends what you call the marrow or what you call the bone.
I guess he's saying, are we emulating the nano layer and the plasma layer, I guess, with roots?
It's a mixture of the two. Don't forget that what is the wall of the root to you is part of the gans of the material of the root itself.
Right, it all depends on your point of view.
No, not point of view. It depends on the scale of the work. When you speak, let's speak about the bone marrow or a bone. This I was teaching to a professor of medicine on Monday, Tuesday lunch. Caroline. If you look at the structure of the bone, we talked about this a lot of time. The bone marrow, which is in the center, always has any of the immune system you look, it always has a calcium in. One reason is because the lymph goes through the bone, it takes some with it, and the other reason is the bone itself, inside the bone hollow part, which is the bone marrow, keeps on losing its calcium to the bone too. Literally, when it comes through, it takes part of itself in it with it. When you look at the human skull, we explained this one before. If this is your brain and two halves, your brain cells come from here, drops in, and it goes inside. So if you understand this, the wall of the root is partially created by the field of the center itself, but on the other hand is itself the field of the center. The same with the bone marrow. The bone marrow inside, due to its strength, dictates the size and the position of the boundary of the bone. But the bone itself, incoming part of the bone marrow, as it washes it, is the recycling, gravitational and magnetic. This is the same with the root. The root is the center which decides the thickness of the root, how far the root is going to be, but that itself, it adds to itself to the strength of the to the structure of the root itself. So in a way, if you look at it, your brain starts as a bone structure on your skull, and then it sinks inside, it gets pulled into by the gravitational field. And I try to, we have it here somewhere, to show you the MRI of the brain. You see it very clearly. With MRI of brain, It's you have a very transparent thin layer here most of the time, and this transparent thin layer color, because you don't have a borderline, is very much this kind of color, and it comes in as a part and it sinks in. Any other question?
There's a question, is there a need to polarize the capacitors that are done with caustic?
What?
Is there a need to polarize the capacitors that are done with the caustic?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Someone asked what were the numbers of wraps or of the paper around the capacitor, but I don't think it was measured in wraps. It was just sort
It's
of
just to
square.
make sure it's not loose. The pin is not loose inside the the coil.
And it
Like,
just wraps around.
I explained to you before, when you start making, especially if you want your system to be consistent, then we done this, I explained to you in the manufacturing. We have created grooves, and so the capacitor comes in and it turns in, that it holds it. And the same, if you look at it in another structure, the capacitor is here hanging. It goes into the groove and turns, and the pin comes in and turns too. Because if it's slightly thinner, you can't get everything precise, you don't lose your capacitors. That's why we recalled some units back, because the guy did not fit in properly the capacitor. So it just, when they come to make them parallel joint, it just gets pulled out. So this way we lock it, doesn't matter what happens. Because you can't get the coils, the turns exactly all the time, the same, perfect. You have a loose connection, you lock it in.
Okay.
I've got to explain to you, now we sorted part of, or most of the problem with the energy units. On Monday, again, the batches will start going out.
Sorry, Mr. Keshe, I think we lost you again there. I think we have a strong need for some plasma batteries there. Hopefully in the next few weeks, we'll be able to replace that thing.
Maybe the machine is
Okay,
not charging.
now we hear you.
We leave too many people in charge of too many batteries, so they don't charge you, man. There we have.
You need the manager of the chargers of the batteries then.
So yeah, we have a charging manager.
Yes, right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we're back,
Okay.
yeah.
So what I explained, we had this with capacitors and center pin quite a lot. This is one of this is in transport, where the pin moves. We can put everything we like, but then when they throw it around and it gets it wrong, the pin moves. Built all the first power unit is to put them in this house. We had a problem because the paper precise with the turn of it.
There's a problem with the microphone, Mr. Keshe. It's cutting out.
It's a dead battery. Okay, I said if the battery doesn't go, this is the last one, we stop teaching. Means God doesn't want you to have the knowledge. He is very, very stingy today.
Doesn't God have a little more energy than a couple of little batteries? Holy cow.
Ah, we got a backup. I had a very, I was explaining to Arman, God is Jewish, not in that sense, but the foundation has got its own internal lawyers. And for a time, for past few months, they didn't want me to know that the lawyer of the foundation, the firm, is a Jewish lady, because a Jewish woman. So she's the internal lawyer of the company. And so my partners don't want to tell me she's Jewish. And they were playing around the game, you know. She's Friday, she's not here. And at the end, I said, okay, so where is she? We got to do so. She's I said, what do you mean? She's Jewish. I said, I don't work with the Jews. Impossible. But I had to call her because it was something important. And she comes on the phone and said, I don't work with the Jews. Impossible. It's against my religion. She said, is there a problem? I said, yes, I don't work with the Jews. She says, why? I said, because I'm half Jewish. So, but that was being a very nice Jew, because I work with anybody. But people have the fear of your look, that because you look Middle Eastern, you don't like the Jews. Yeah, and it was so, speaking to my own lawyer in the firm was the problem, being looking Middle Eastern. It's a conception of what we expect just because we have a, what do you call it, image of people going to speak together. You'll meet her very soon. She's here next week, because she's going to cover some legal terms. So what you got to understand is that the problem is in the winding. You'll find when you do your nano coating with a fire, you have a smooth slide with the paper. The pin comes out much easier. So you have a problem. You got to find a way to secure your pins. We will, next week or so, we will put these bits of coils or whatever. So it's as part of the manufacturing for sale. If somebody wants so many capacitor coil holders or whatever, there's a structure of sale of things which is coming on that you can buy bits and parts if you want to do it. Another couple of weeks, it'll all be organized. So, yes, your paper. Very strange thing is, it looks like certain papers give a better result in capacitance. Certain papers allow the drying of the water much faster, so you don't get the sparks. You can use a combination of papers for your capacitor. So what you can do, you can use, for example, tissue paper and then put wax paper inside it to hold. But there's a problem here with burning. One of the things you'll find out, these systems should not heat up under no circumstances unless you overload them. If you overload, then your capacitor, due to the matter state in between, is your first point of failure. It's the first point. If your system fails, look into your capacitor. because you have a position, you have an interface between the two, and this paper is the only part which this is nano-coated, this is nano-coated, and this is GaNs. The only matter is here. So this is your heating element. You can do a lot of things if you understand this. You can do a lot of flavors. Matter, if you want to produce certain products in a certain way, you have a nano-layer, you put the GaNs. By dictating this element here, aluminum, copper, zinc, or whatever, you can create different conditions. This is important when you want to create a matter state. You want to convert the energy into the matter state, so you use a matter to give it a comparison. Do you understand? Roughly, step by step. Let me go back to this way. Nano-coated copper, zinc. I tell you this till you very, very well understand. Nano-coated or non-nano-coated, you still have gravitational magnetic field of the material. You create the field of copper, sorry, the field of carbon here from the atomic structure and from nanostructure. A lot of people speak about Ormus and GaNs. Those are the people who haven't understood the difference between a nanomaterial and matter state. Ormus, what you call it, whatever, does not work in one direction, but GaNs is a direction of a state of matter, and that's why a lot of people get confused and they drink it by mistake and they play with their life. Anybody who speaks about Ormus means they have not understood the plasma technology. They're in the matter state, they want to force it into the matter state, in the plasma state. So I see a lot of comments, can you explain what's the difference? It's very much like iron, solid state of matter, and gas or liquid, and we're talking about the plasma, which is totally different ballgame. This is the same structure, but in different state of matter. And the gas of the material is created out of the environmental condition of a plasma state gravitational magnetic field. So when you speak about the gas, you create the environment of a matter in gravitational magnetic field, which it leads to the plasma of that matter. Is a plasmatic condition. So if you understood this, and you can understand this, the media is this GaNs. So you get this. But now you dictate this as this environment. If you choose, up to now, you're still on the primitive stages of producing capacitors. If you produce nano-coated aluminum as a center pin and the copper as a coil, or do titanium as one and the other, and use a specific mixture of gases, then you produce a specific gravitational magnetic field of the material which you want in this environment. Here. You have to start extending the knowledge. You change the power of your maglev system by changing different matters, by changing your gases. You create every step a different condition. We are getting to the point in the factory that we can dictate exactly the strength we want out of a system. We're learning and how it can be done. Any other question?
Let me see here. Is it easier to use standard capacitors instead of plasma capacitors to avoid errors?
Yes, you can do. Is running online. Can you see running in the background?
Yes, Renan is there.
Renan, can you explain to us what you're doing in the factory regarding the standard capacitors?
Yes, sir. Okay, about the standard capacitors, which was shown also in the blueprint, the drawings there, we use the conventional 2.2 kilovolt kVr capacitor that is to support that 2 kilowatt unit. So with the conventional capacitor, which we are using, uh, we need to, the difference is we just need to switch it off once a month so that to discharge the capacitor. So that's the difference with using the conventional capacitors. So every month it needs to be discharged so that there will be no accumulation, or the capacitor won't be full and will become a load. So that's the only thing that we are putting a mechanical switch towards. When you switch off the when we switch on the unit, the capacitors are not shorted. When we switch off the unit, the capacitors get shorted to the ground. So that's one of the, if you can see that in the download in the blueprint, there's one of the pictures there showing the conventional capacitor connection. And with the conventional capacitors, we have seen the change with one capacitor, at least 20% on savings for one capacitor. So we added to the maximum of 3 capacitors to 5 capacitors. So it has not incremented in double, but it has stayed at 60% with the 5 capacitors. So we're using only one capacitor for maglev unit. So we are assuming for a long use, it will increase its efficiency. But if you want to reach maximum, you need to couple it with your maglev capacitor, with your power units, and with your 2.2 kVr capacitors, at least 5 to get a maximum output, and eventually let it run for a while to get an optimum output for it. So that's one of the what we use in the manufacturing, as we have the existing capacitors in the stock. So with that transition before using the plasma capacitors.
And you put it on series with the grid or parallel with the grid?
Parallel with the grid, sir. It's in the parallel with the grid.
Okay, thank you very much.
Line
You can use.
and yes,
Pardon?
line 1 and line 2.
While we got you on, Renan, there was another question about capacitor, about the nano coating with both ends going the same way, but Lowly Molly says that there are 2 ends, a minus and a plus. So how does that get reconciled with the idea of the coating the way it's shown in the video, I guess?
For the plasma capacitor,
Yeah.
yeah, for the plasma.
How do you train the nano coating when there's the two ends, the plus and the minus, and so on?
For the alignment, I think we use the fire coating. So if we do the alignment, it's through the direction of the coating. So it's sweeping towards the inside, and with using the testing of the nanomaterials using the ohmmeter and the voltmeter, so we can align it.
I think they're saying that that it shows the nano coating with both ends going the same way, but they're saying that there's two ends. One should be a minus and one should be a plus. I think at the same end.
Yes, yes. You can do in the drawings we have opposite so that you don't get short in the with the presentation in the video. It was just inserted in a way that so it will be easily connected in the same point. So we just extended the insulator paper, the baking paper or the wax paper, so that it won't stick together to get shorted out. So, but in the presented in the blueprint, it is advisable that the other end will be the positive in the other side. The other side will be on the negative in the other side to avoid shortage or short of to avoid the short of the what do we call it? The capacitor won't get shorted out. So what is positive and negative for that interface? I believe the I believe it is the positive is the middle, and the negative is the gravitational is the coil.
It's Sandor here. Renan, we have got many questions from people who try to build demographic systems.
Yes.
Because of little confusion about how to interpret plus and minus on the blueprint. On the schematics, it's not mentioned the polarity of the capacitors, and there were already two versions, earlier and later reviewed, which was showing differently, which is marked with plus inner or outer on the capacitor. So now the question is, what is marked with plus on the capacitor on the blueprint, where to be connected to the plus of the rest of the circuit, the plus of the coils, or just opposite to the minus?
For connecting to the grid, you mean the parallel? How to connect parallel?
In the schematics for the blueprint, we have a mark of plus and minus at the end of the coil.
Yes.
And also you have a plus or minus marked on the capacitor. So how to connect the plus of the capacitors? It can be connected to the plus point of the coil or different?
Okay. So the capacitors, if we connected to the parallel, if you connected to the coils in parallel to the coils, so we need to connect the positive to the positive of the coils as parallel connection, and negative to the negative.
Thank you very much. That was my interpretation too. So now I'm sure it's no mistake.
Yes, it's for
and
parallel.
now because you have shown on your video about how you make the coils and what you call it clockwise or anti-clockwise, how we understand why it was the difference of the different meaning for the same word, because you refer to the direction of turning the screwdriver.
Yes, that's why we clarify is that.
Yeah. And many people were not seeing the screwdriver, but looking at the ready-made coil. They said, if I look from the top, it looks like it is a clockwise, which you name anti-clockwise. And now we have to apply this understanding also to your previous lectures about the health coils, where it goes about the different effects for the clockwise name and anti-clockwise. So it's always better to go with the drawing to avoid different interpretations because of different cultures.
Yes. For that presentation, we didn't mention any clockwise and counterclockwise. We just showed the turn, so you can assess on the based on the variation. So the turning shows the how it is turned in a way that we can form the coils for the magrav units and also for the pen. So we label that as a counterclockwise turning of the wires.
Thank you
To
very
create.
much. This clarified a lot. This is very valuable information. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other question?
There's a question about if I train my power unit for a full month, then bring it to another house, would the power unit still function properly? Or would I need to give it another month in the new house?
I think you gotta understand is not your power unit which you are training or adopting or developing, is the house which you are adopting is wiring to. It's a big difference. So you're not training the dog is actually training you how to use it. The the process is you need your nano coated material to nano coat more systems that it can operate within the system. I give you a very big hint if you listen. I gave you a huge big hint if you listen. And if you missed it, listen to it 3-4 times, then you understand. Not the dog bit, the one after it. Remember one thing, as long as you work with plasma, the environment you create counts, not with what you created or how you create it. Does that make sense? You create an environment to be 20 kilowatt energy. Doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you can continuously make available so much energy at any time to a certain number of plasmas. You don't go and buy a fuel and sit there and run a machine to get the 20. You create a condition for it. Does that mean, do you understand? Or is that difficult, Adrian? No? I understand. Pardon? Yes, but repeat it. You're too far for us. You got a microphone. Read?
Hello?
Yep.
Yes, it was something that you said earlier, which is condition, position, and create.
You got to remember this is the way how every piece of this universe works, from your body outside to atomic structure and the rest. This is how you separate between structures. Is one is a wood, one is a metal. What kind of metal? There is no difference. You make all these coils, for example, for paint pens. Have you ever considered how you can change the whole work of the pen? You've been so busy with just making a coil, most of you forgot what's the interaction with the coil. What's the interaction of the coil with the material you put around it? Because the structure is what it absorbs or releases. A lot of you choose a pen and you just take it out and you do it. Some of you use crystals, some of you use other wood. But what is the best option to do? Have you ever considered that the structure has more say in the field than you think? If I make this pen, which has got a coil in it, this is what you're going to get more or less as a pen. You're so involved with what's inside it that you forgot what you put it in has more say than what's inside it too. Changes to wood, changes to crystals. You know this, what do you call it, the long crystals you buy? What do you call them? What? Put them in it, drill a hole if you can, and put the coil inside it. The power increases so much. You can do, no problem. You can, but understand what it'll give you. Those of you who haven't tried, but if you want to try, use crystals. You saw very touching, very straight away, the guy put some crystals on the dust and he made gold. And then somebody says the crystals is because crystals are always present when there is a gold. What's the atomic mass of gold? So heavy. What's the association? Why do we see crystals with it? Yesterday I just got the end of what's his name? Mike Nasser teaching. He touched it and all of you missed it. Most of you missed it. He's a very good teacher. He's a perfect teacher for you if you understand what he was telling you. He said, when you make this system, you get crystals on it. That crystal condition, why don't you make a container of crystals in it? You'll find out a pen that big or a pen this size as a crystal can work better than any laser beam ever created in a plasmatic condition. You can target a cancer. Nowadays everything is possible. Oh, my friend, we cut laser beam into diamond. Of course you need technology. We have the technology. We live in the most advanced nation called Italy. The technology is here. It's not a problem. In the diamond business, we drill, laser drill, for years now, 20, 30 years. In diamond business, you literally drill into the diamond. You drill so precise you can't even see it. It's very easy. You just make a hole and you can remove it. Try to make, those of you who understand or have access to do it, make a hole in the crystals and make a pen out of crystal. It'll be most powerful than any laser beam you ever see in a plasmatic condition. But be careful where you touch it. If you touch a nerve, you can create all of that. But you can use it for specific jobs. One of the uses of it, if you can plasmatic mono strengthen it, will be used for welding. It's part of the pattern. You can use plasma for welding. This is part of it. You just create one of these in a specific way with a specific crystal. If you can control it, you literally deliver a powerful whack. And if it's an aircraft, there is no aircraft. This is the future of the destruction of the space. When you want to travel at high speed, you have a meteorite ahead of you. You don't wait for Father Christmas. I hope it'll be good by the time I get to it. At a few hundred times the speed of light. You create a condition of a crystal condition. You create a plasma condition, you target it inside it, in the plasma. You don't destroy it, you open up the plasma like a soup, go through it. You never destroy anything in space. You accommodate. So if you understand that, and you can put one of these in a proper position, is the biggest nightmare of President Reagan. What do they call it? A Star Wars game. These technologies are so precise, you can use it, but you can package it. You package the plasma in one go, you have directed it. It's the way all the field comes to one point, you release it in the package. You open up. Why not? But you don't need the information transfer as a pulse. You need the information transfer as a gravitational magnetic field difference. Pulse does not work. You have to package it in exactly. You'll find out in the coming time why I've chosen this. The spiral shape which you started this maggraph system has a lot of reasons. Zero-time communication will come out of this, but I'll teach you in time. You create a package which carries everything in it, and then you release it. Transportation, like individual packages you send by post, you call it whatever, FedEx it. You can do it in a very rapid way through plasma technology. We're getting to the point that next term is just literally instrumentation and achieving. I'll just teach you one after another instrument, how to, and you can produce. Total, everything you need in the space to create as an instrument, next term, that's the job. And then once you go to the summer term, you can use it in a flight condition. We started the process of implementation last 2 weeks ago. The innovation team already been told what we expect to see for the plasma system. So this comes next term. If you've seen a pen, you've seen a power unit, or you've seen a pad, as that makes up, this is nothing, you've seen nothing yet. You produce systems. You have every one of you as students around the world who are on these teachings, on the close teachings, have to be able to produce matter complete as a condition at will. That's part of your work. So if you manage to create a Magra power unit next term, you should be able to produce whatever we ask as part of the teaching. We ask you to produce gold, you have to produce gold, you have a few minutes, don't wait weeks and months. We want you to produce the strength of the aspirin, it should be immediate. All those on a full-time teaching, on a daily teaching, you should be able to submit every day a new product that we have a full pack. Is quite a lot of you, so 1 pack a day, 12 weeks, makes quite a lot of. So be prepared next week, and next time when you come back, put all your heads together. You sat here for 6 months, some of you 2 years, and going home. He said that, finish. Now you have to produce. You have to. This is the only option left. We come to your homes, we come to your houses. I don't have a camera. We send you a camera, but you have to be able to produce condition of plasma. Because then becomes norm, then we go to the final steps of the spaceship development this year, as we promised. I taught you the hardware making. I taught you the way to make the plasma in the condition. Now you have to use the plasma to create the matter state as well. You can have plenty of lab time if you want. That's why in the teachings on the foundation knowledge seekers, we've been taught about control of emotion, because you don't need physically a drill there to drill something. Any other question?
We had a question. Would it make
No more
sense
question?
to? Oh, there's more questions, definitely. Would it make sense to produce nano-coated wires for the home grid? I guess they mean in addition to anything that might be nano-coated through the plasma device. Should we be stringing nano-coated wires around the home, perhaps?
I don't know. Depends what you're planning for the home. It's like it, what do you call it? It's your decision what you want to do with it. We are looking next term for those who are inside the teaching and knowledge seekers on the 1 year or 3 year course to be able to create conditions of operation of a heart. You have to be able to. What it means, you should be able to create blood through interaction of the matter within the plasma. You've done it. You create a condition. You saw amino acids on top of the water. Go back to it, understand the process. It should be very easy for all of you next term to just produce condition of blood in the environment. If we decide we see the seed, if not, we can measure its strength. If you lose so much blood in the space, where are you going to find transfusion? Who's going to come and give you blood? You cut yourself, you need to do something. How are you going to create your blood so rapid? It's one of the first materials, more important than food, you need to learn. Go back to the teaching, go back to understand in a very simple way. You have a carbon and you have a carbon, you have a nitrogen, and you have oxygen. You learn how to produce carbon with 2 matter, creation of condition. It's not very difficult to make 14 or to make 16. Start looking in the interaction of the plasma. It should be very easy for you. You understand it. I think the other guy who should be able to do this, what's his name? Who's teaching tomorrow? Zaizen. This, don't forget, is within the structure of your existence. It's part of your amino acid. Start developing senses, not equipments. Start developing technology with understanding you don't need a tool, but what about if I lose my arm and I lose all the blood and I need blood? I'm sure no Martian will give you any blood. You got to create a condition through your emotional part of your brain that can lead to the physicality of the matter you need. But this time, you have a plasma source. Now, the only thing you need to do is a big piece of bread coming continuously out. It's like a sausage machine. You got to decide the size of a sausage. You want a small one, big one, bigger one, bigger one. You want a water, you want meat, you want something else. You got to develop a technique of cutting fields. You got to develop understanding of how you slice plasma. None of you have managed to do it, and I've tried to explain to you in so many ways in all the health teachings. How do you slice a plasma? How do you add to a plasma? How do you dictate it? Your body does it through B12, your body does it through thyroid gland and parathyroid gland. Go into it, learn it by next term. That will be very easy how you change a continuous sausage of plasma which will come out of these machines. Have you been to a sausage factory? It just rolls out. At the end, they put, if you want a mini sausage, you want a long sausage. Now you have to make that measurement, and you have the basis of it. This is a very big jump for a lot of you, but those who've been through the private teaching on SSI, you should have a very good clue by now. Is it needed to be a machine, or the intention of the thought has the power to do what you need? The guy made you gold. His intention was to cut it out. Any other question?
Well, there's the one of the questions that seems to come up quite often that probably should be addressed, that in Renan's video today, he rolled the paper with the GANS paste undried and placed them in the capacitor. Wouldn't the wetness in the capacitors cause a short?
Yes, but he didn't show you that he's connected it to the circuit. It's always wet. Take your time, let it dry.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Do we have to insulate the capacitors?
No, the minute you insulate the, depends what you call by insulation. You got to hang them in the air. You can't pack them to each other. Packing
But they
them to
should
each
be
other is a
electrically
recipe
insulated.
for disaster. Pardon?
I suppose they should be electrically insulated, so prying fingers.
No, you don't need. It's nano-coated. It's already fully insulated. It's the best insulation in the world on it. What do you want to insulate?
Okay.
The way you do it is literally, if I can show it to you, you literally hang them next to each other from top and bottom. That's what we are doing. There is no physical contact except at the point of the grip. And it's so small, which is irrelevant, hopefully. And they just hang. There's no touch, no field transfer.
So they usually take a day or two maybe to dry, is that correct?
Depends how you make your GANs. The way you saw it there is very watery, very liquid. Some people make a paste, like a toothpaste, hardly any water in it. It all depends how you make it.
And are the coils ever heated separately, or are they always done one inside the other? Is that is it give enough heat to the inner coil? Is one of the questions.
You can do it the way you saw it. They were inserted inside each other, and it seems to be good. But if you want to nano-coat them separately and then cross them through, you still can do. But then you scratch it or whatever you can do.
You might have to do a touch-up after that, perhaps, too.
Yep. Depends. Do you know where you scratched inside?
Yeah, right. You might have to go at it with a microscope completely over the whole thing if you do it in that method.
It seems to be working. If failure point comes, as I said, test your, what we set up in the factory is very simple. Once the coil are made, there is a 4 capacitor system here, and there is a load here. It just gets hooked onto a plate and they monitor the meter. It's left up to 2 hours. Immediately we see the structure, yes or no. Don't forget, when you go into mass production, 2 hours is nothing. From the time you bring a raw material to the time you assemble a unit, literally 1 unit takes up to 3 days. It's not that you coil it and do it. You've got to nanocoat it, leave it with a gas, let it dry naturally, then test it, run it, test on it. Single coil is tested, then when it's stacked on 3, the 3-coil stacker is tested, and then you go assembly with the capacitors, and then you test again. Each test is 2 hours. It's very tightly controlled system. Because this way we set up, if there is any failure, you see it. That's how, even it took a long time, we had to produce this system to control. A good system should take up to 2 months to make. Those of you who make a system a day or a week or 2 weeks, if you make a very, very good system, you allow nanomaterials to grow. That's the whole structure. You're in a hurry to make it quick, quick, quick. So you're looking for the confirmation. And all of you up to now are fully disappointed. He's a liar. He didn't show our system only goes 10%. It's not my fault if the show is here and you're looking over there for it. You can't go and watch a football match if you're looking at the stadium with a football ground is here and you're looking over there for it.
So you're saying to leave the coils sort of au naturel, you might say. So there's a question here: how do we protect the GANs on the coils and make it waterproof, or do they just
don't need the magnetic? You see, this means
just use a waterproof casing, perhaps, to protect from the elements?
No, the gravitational magnetic field nanolayer holds on to the GANs it needs. The more little as possible, the more powerful. This is the habit of man, more and more and more. You have to have more of everything. Splash it, put it on it. It doesn't work.
You mentioned that this morning, that you emphasized that this morning, the thinner layers were better. And this is what they find in some of the applications of nanomaterials as well. The thinner the layer, the more effective it is. And
no, it's not a thinness. No, it's not a thinness. It's allowing to what is the strength of the field to hold on to, not what you're forcing it to. Because what you force on it, it'll come off. There's a beautiful video on one of the links of the Keshe Foundation. The guy has made a GANs, he's literally buttered it up, and he's left it outside in the rain. And he says, look what happens to my coil for 3 days. And he's taking a shot every few hours. I don't know if you've seen it or not. Yeah, you've seen that. And then at the end of the 3rd day, there is nothing on it. And he thinks, oh, everything is gone. But the nanomaterials through gravitational magnetic field are holding to enough GANs what it can be supported by the material. It's a beautiful video. You see the coil is smothered with GANs and the guy has hung it. And there is a rain coming and there's a night time and the internal one twists and turns a little bit. At the end of the 3rd day, it's totally naked. And exactly what's on it, that's what that coil can hold on to. It's full of GANs. That's all you need. Not smothering it, you know, like making what they call a sandwich is full of butter on it. You want to know if you've done it that way, do what the guy did. Hang your coil outside. Leave it in the rain and the wind and the sun and the day and the night. At the end of the day, whatever is left on it, this is what the system can support. And that's what it needs. It's a beautiful video. A lot of these videos which come on the internet, a lot of people are testing and doing things. If you understand, even though maybe they don't understand what it means, it carries a lot of knowledge. There's a huge amount of knowledge that's been put by Keshe Foundation supporters around the world. Every video is an effort of knowledge. If you look at it, not the way it's intended for you to see, but understand the process of nanotechnology and the gas technology, we have a vast encyclopedia of knowledge getting put on the internet. But all of you, whenever you do a test and you show something, every color has a meaning, every position has a meaning, every structure has a meaning. Everything you do adds to human knowledge. You don't understand it at the time, but in the future, some of you understand, you explain why. This guy decided to paste it solid, leave it in the air, but in fact, it's very important what is done. It shows you, you hold on to what you need. And gravitational magnetic field of this morning, I explained to you, of the nanomaterial. Can you find that? Do you know where it is, Rick? Have you seen this video?
No, I haven't seen that one.
It's out in the last couple of weeks. The problem with me is I drive and Caroline is like, oh, have you seen this video? And I'll go, yes. Oh, the traffic jam. Oh. And it's very nice. This video explains a lot of things because it's what it says. It's very simple. I was explaining this. You take from this technology according to your intelligence and what you can absorb. This coil hanging there is a clear, perfect example of it. The guy smothers the thing with 2 coils and literally pasted with as much GaNs as he could. It's really smothered with it. And after 3 days, he says, look what happened to my coil. It's literally naked. All you see is exactly what we see with wash of the gas with 80% water. Because it only holds on to what it needs according to its strength. Because it's holding to what it needs, it doesn't waste any energy. It gives you a maximum performance of your system. Any other question? When you make these gases, even if it's paste, make your water and just wash it in them. Because when you wash, the coil has already held on to it because it's a plasma. It holds to what it needs. And I tell you something, if you do not know, if you do not put GaNs on your system, your coils don't operate. If you just put nano-coated material together, no performance for your power production magnet system. The minute you put the GaNs on it, it shows its fine. So the GaNs is there, it releases its power. Try it. Put your coil without nano coating and see what happens, without GaNs coating, and then do one with the GaNs coating and see what happens. Then you understand it does not need to be visible for you to understand. It's what it needs to be done to it. It's like when you dust chicken before you fry it. Huh? You can't smother the chicken on it. You dust it, whatever it needs, you shake it, whether it doesn't need. You see how they make pizza here? The guy makes pizza, puts it on the flour, he flies it, he does everything with it. And the paste, the pizza only holds to the flour, which it needs. The rest is flying off. Correct, Italians? Yes, it goes like this, it goes like this. But at the end, when you touch it, it's full of flour. Wear a black suit and go to the guy after finish flying it and touch it and touch your suit. It's full of dust. It holds on to what it needs. It's exactly the same as your coat. Next question.
Anonymous says, I used a thicker 12 gauge wire for my magnetical coil and a 14 gauge for my gravitational. Can this be a problem? Or is there any issues or benefits with it?
No, it's a beautiful innovation. Why not?
Okay.
But understand what you're expecting from your system. What do you expect it to do? Are you using it as a pen? Are you using it as a coil system? Are you expecting to give more, or are you expecting to create a system which can literally destroy itself? Do not go, unless you know what you're doing, to anything over 14 M14, which is 1.6 millimeter diameter. If you go to M10 and M8, which is a thicker diameters, then you play a dangerous game. Unless you know it, it's a beautiful game. Higher gauges create a different gravitational magnetic field because of the thickness of the coil. You want to play with the moon, or would like to play with a black hole in the center of the galaxy? If you understand. M8, do not touch unless you know what you're doing. M14 is the best. M16, which is thinner, and M18 is what you should be working on.
In that sense, there was a question earlier about about using tubing and what would be the effect of a larger diameter tubing for the plasma flow. And I think we can pretty much guess that. Pardon me?
Two pipes, you mean?
Tubing, using a hollow tube to create the coil.
Yeah.
We were talking about that earlier, and that they were asking, well, you know, what would happen with a larger diameter tube? Would that, you know, how would that affect the plasma inside?
Oh, I tell you what it does. If you want to start playing games, you're going that way, I'll show you a very nice game.
I think that's what the pressure seems to be going that way, in a sense. I mean, people always want something.
But you have to have the tools.
Bigger, more, greater.
Why do you need bigger? You want more, stronger, powerful system. You want to play games? Let's play games of the boys. You played boys' games and children games. Let's play a game of a man. But I'll tell you, a very few of you will come out in a good shape with it because you don't understand it. Get yourself a pipe enough, strong enough that you can twist it, you can coil it. But before you do it, insert in it another pipe. Here you have two coils. Now you make two coils with not a wire, but with tubes. You can imagine. You can't imagine? Laser beam it at the end. If you make a right combination of two different material, whatever you need at the end of the pipe will flood if you do your job right. Because not only you have coiled it, now you have dictated the condition of the strength of one to another. You want to do copper then? You want zinc? Because you already conditioned the system. Then you have to consider in so many ways what diameter you want. Because this will dictate a lot of things too. Get two hollow pipes. You already done it. You already know what I'm talking about. You can't see it. Look, cut across the coils you made. You have a wire which is coiled, and you put a wire through it. You're putting a wire through a coil, and then you're transferring the energy. Now put two pipes inside each other and do the job. But you have to have a machine that you can coil it. And then you have to have enough strength that you can bring it together. And then you should be able to nano coat both sides of the coil. If you look, if you understand this, it's a natural process. You've seen it all. Human beings have been the laziest ones who have understood it. What is this? Have you ever cut a tree and you look in the cuts?
It's exactly the ear growth rings which are in the temperate climate.
Pardon?
It's exactly like the growth rings which are created in winter and summertime, which is in this temperate climate or in places which are not
What is your microphone?
I hope you can hear. So in the tropical wood, you cannot see that where temperature is constant along the year, only when you have the 4 seasons.
So
Yes.
if you look, you already know this process. If you look, you already got a guess what happens. You got it. If you look into the stem of a tree, without you knowing what the tree is, you can tell what it's producing, what is the strength, which environment. It's the same. The field which allows the GANs to come through. Cut the root. It tells you what the strength you can get from the root. This is nothing you don't know. You all know exactly what it is. Now try to repeat that in a pipe, which is inserted in another pipe, nano-coated, because each layer in respect to the other is one layer, and then gas-coated. This is one of the most powerful laser beams you'll ever come across. You should be able easily to do it. And don't forget, a lot of you have a big problem. You see everything through copper wire. You can achieve the same nano coating nowadays through plastic. If you find flexible plastics and you can keep it in the coil, the same as you do with the wire, and you can just nano coat it with a white caustic, you can produce a lot of new things. It's one continuous sausage. Depends where you want to cut end of the string. This is how your body works through parathyroid glands, through your B12. There's one continuous field available. Depends what the intention is your cutting machine. It's going to get very exciting. Where are you, in Philippines or New York? Los Angeles? You don't know. Poor Albert. He came from Los Angeles a few days, he's gone to Philippines. By the time he was catching up, he's back here again, so he doesn't know where he is, half asleep, half walking. Now, try to extend the knowledge. If making a full coil is impossibilities, you don't have the strength of it, start making the pipes which I told you this morning. What are the strengths, how you nanocoat, how many layers you nanocoat, if you can insert them inside each other. Would you like orange? You want to strengthen the gravitational field, you want to strengthen magnetical field, go into the teaching of the Chinese doctor a few weeks ago in the private teaching, Yin and Yang. Which one do you want to increase? All of you who stay on the private teachings, you should be able to rapidly develop these things because you're well trained by it now. Look in the structure. If you look, there is somewhere on the internet, there is a paper written about 20 years ago. The scientists in the nuclear center somewhere in America, they did analysis of the vortex of the heating of the central core of the sun. I have this paper somewhere. And you will see the same process on calculation. How the strength comes from expansion of the vortex of the heat from the center of the sun. So you decide how thick, how thin, and what you're going to flow in that pipe here. And what you like to float in the center. And then the interaction of the two fields will give you what you need. This is your copper plate. This is your zinc plate. You want to leave one in a matter state that it converts the plasma into a matter state gas, and what you get out of here is a matter state of the same thing as it comes in a plasmatic condition. Listen to what I just said 2 seconds ago. You understand the secret of conversion. The process is to not to play, but bring the interaction of the matter state electromagnetic field and the plasmatic magnetic field, and then you decide what you want between the two. Don't frame yourself in a box of CO2 and what you have in it. Frame yourself in a condition of universal spherical shape. What you want to put insert in, insert out. You'll see very easily how you can start now manipulating plasma to a matter state, or you keep it in the plasma state as you want it. I don't want to drink. I don't want to be dread, but I would like to receive the energy. I don't like to eat or consume, what do you call it, these little tablets with the fish oil. Children hated the taste of the fish. But what you can do, you can create a plasma of it and they can walk it. They just receive it without the knowing, I taste something not nice, but it's already in the body what it is. And if you understood it, you can give it tangibility of the physicality, you can give them the tablet. This is what I explained this morning. Do you want to receive the energy of the water that is in your body, confirms their existence, or do you want the water to swim in? You can create swimming pools anywhere in the universe because you just change the magnetic field strength. This is what happens on this planet. The water did not come in as water. The gravitational magnetic field of the Earth creates a gravitational field strength which is equal to H2O within the structure of the near core center, and all it does, it bubbles up, it rises up, it doesn't rain in. Then if you understand this, you understand again, I repeat, why you have a sweetwater fish and you have a saltwater fish. You have a warm water fish and you have a cold water fish. Because the environment that magnetic field was created creates a slightly different water strength. And that different strength of water creates a slightly different condition for creation of the fish. But in fact, the water comes in as part of the structure. Now, anybody in the universe, you would like cod, you can have a cod, you want a tuna, you make a tuna. If you understood how to create the water in that condition, why we're sitting here. We have a beautiful Korean, we have a very handsome black man from Africa's descent, we have a white blue eyes, and we have everything else. How did we evolve? The condition of, instead of being in a swimming pool of water, we are in the swimming of the environment, of the air of the planet, where it dictates how we interact with it. This is what I keep on saying. Beauty and the color is only a skin depth. We all bleed red and we all have a red meat. So in the space, you create the environment, not the matter. When you create the environment, then it leads to the matter you want to create. And from now on, the way the teachings are going, all of you should be able to produce anything you need, anytime you need, any color you need. Very soon, it becomes the new diamond business. The new diamond business is you can have diamonds of any color you like. Very strange colors are coming to the market because it's what you suck out in the diamond structure. Now you can have a meat which is totally green. If you want to see it, I make it for you. You eat it, you taste it, it's meat, but it's absolutely green. It's very bad time. Have you ever eaten a Martian? Huh? It's a Martian meat, yeah. Have you seen? Now the possibilities of the knowledge and science has opened up totally in a different way. Because now you control the creation. You become the creator because you decide what you want as an outcome. The biggest problem in the world of science was how to open the Pandora box of creation, which is plasma. Now you decide how you want to cut the plasma, you learn how to create it. That any of you sits waiting for a magna power, it means you're far behind. You've got to stay where you are. You haven't developed matured enough. We give you the magna power. But those of you who have developed to go to the next step in the real world of the universal condition, which is a space technology, now you start playing with plasma. Plasma is nothing but the essence of creation. Anybody called plasma physicist, nuclear physicist, get that degree and pin it on the wall of a toilet. That's all it was. Because they have not understood and they bring the knowledge of creation into a mockery. So understand, very simple. The biggest problem has been to understand the condition of creation of the plasma. Now we know, now you can play the game. It's very much like a raw dough in your hand. You want a bread, you want a cake, you want a pastry, you want a noodle. It's you who decides. The only thing is, you got to remember the space technology. The spaceship technology has one little problem. And that problem is you. Because if you understood the work of the plasma, your intention and your emotion is a cutting machine. It's the dictator of the condition. Until you don't understand that, you will not understand anymore. You have to go into the standing that the emotion is your B12 in the world of the plasma. It's your sewing machine. It's you through intention, because you know, for example, how pizza tastes, you have created this condition. What would you like? What's your intention? Pizza and spaghetti together? No? You had enough. Armand says, I've eaten enough pizza and spaghetti that is enough for the rest of my life. He's been here in Italy for 2 years. So try to extend the knowledge of plasma in a plasma matter, not in a matter state of matter. You have now the strength to create and produce anything you wish. But first of all, as we teach you in the private teaching, intention. Intention is your neural system. You have the plasma of the emotion and you have the plasma of the lymph. What you release as intention is the glue, is the what you call the instigator of the process. Cut the plasma. Now go, you are looking for a plasma of just to have 1 or 2 kilowatts of resistance power. Understood that, open it up into rivers of existence. And you try to see which and where you want this river to end. You can use it for fuel, you can use it for food, you can use it for medicine, you can use it for anything you imagine. And we've seen the first sign. And I see the other knowledge seekers who are coming up with more and more. Have I got a tail? Just stick in my back. No problem. At least it's not that bad. I can tell you a story with that. No, I know ladies who put it in there and they walk. I've seen it in the restaurant. It's embarrassing, but it's okay. Understand the process of creation. Understand the process for the first time you're in charge. And if you're correct, you receive what you like. It's here. Armand has brought these bones. This is a bone of an animal, but if I can go inside it, you see how the intention of the animal has created nanomaterial and holes and gaps. Every hole, every gap, every structure you see in this bone, I'll go closer for you if you can see, is dictated by the emotion. If it's needed for the brain, if it's needed for the leg, if it's a lymph material, if I can show it to you. No. Marco can come in and show it to you what it is. These, can we go in? Can you zoom on? Am I closer? Just a bit. Can you focus on it? Okay. If you look inside, you see connections, bridges. Yeah. If you look, the nanomaterial has holes in it. Everything has holes. Every single hole you see in this bone, in this end, is intention of the survival by the animal's emotion. If the animal wants to stay alive and it needs vitamin C to live in an environment without actually absorbing any vitamin C, all it does, it creates a bridge and a nanomaterial here, which gives it the immune system like vitamin C. So its intention is transferred into his bone, where his immune system for existence comes. You're no different than a bone of a cow. But now you know how to control it. You learn how to. Your body does it subconsciously, automatically, all the time. If you look, this is another bone. These have all been brought in by Armin. It's a filter system. You see the shapes, the dents, everything is immaculately planned to satisfy the need to guarantee the survival of the animal. Now you can replicate every single hole of this in the coming time, because now you know what it means. Any other question? It's getting exciting. Depends how exciting.
Let me see here. there's a question, is there a video of this tube process being prepared online yet?
Pardon?
Is there a video of this tube process being prepared online yet?
Which
It's a bit
process?
premature. The tubing and so on that you've shown here, this tubular setup is someone's asking if there's a video of it.
You mean you've done it? We'll have a look if you've done it. What, you're energizing your sandwich? You should not let these two contact each other. Always have to be, no, totally separate. Would you like to go mentally demented? Connect them. You connect your physicality to your emotion. Why is it black? Why is it black? Why the material is black? What's the black? A what? Coil or a copper? Is a coil in there? Why have we done this for? This is downgrading. We're trying to walk away from matter state. It's part of the teaching, which is for the medical application you had on Monday or Tuesday, and I asked for these to be made, and somebody has put a coil in it with a nanomaterial. You don't need a coil. This is not much recommended. It has, now you condition your system. It has to be a plasma with a plasma, a GaNs with a GaNs. This way you condition it with a matter. There's a wire in there, yeah? There's a wire inside? Yeah. Coil. Two coils, one inside the other. And then inside, sure. So are you trying to kill yourself? This one, I connect gravitational with gravitational and metal. One is gravitational with gravitational. For both of them. Next, the next idea where on the coil, the gravitational goes into the magnetical goes into the gravitational. He has plenty of time on his hands, huh? Very nice. But when you bring this condition in, then you have a problem. It's good if you want to create a matter condition, but you run into problem if you're trying to use it for what it is working. So beautiful. What does it taste? A hamburger or a cheeseburger? Actually, put one underneath and one on the top, connected to each other, and see what's the feeling of the cow inside. So you got to understand how you transfer energy. This is part of the health section teaching on the daily basis. You should never connect physicality, especially if you use it for health, with a GaNs, especially with copper. I explained this before. When you use it, as I said, you use 6:1 ratio of a GaNs, not the matter state. Because what happened, the state you put in there, you continuously increase the ratio of the GaNs of copper, and the ratio balances the other way. It's actually a recipe for a cancer. Do you understand? Try to understand the structure of what you do. Huh? The coil inside, which you made, is copper. You put it in the GaNs condition, and one way or another, these materials are becoming GaNs off, and they add the ratio changes towards more magra of copper, which is a muscle tissue, and then it gets heavier. That's how cancer is created. Never make things like this. And holding it is not advised either because you transfer energy. It has applications. If you want me to tell you, I can give you applications. It's like where a lot of boys nowadays carry their mobiles in their pocket. And when they sit, you see a lot of drivers, they put the mobile phone between their legs. 100%, not 99%, 100% recipe for cancer of testicle or prostate. It's like the girls who put their mobile phone in their bra, hiding it. We're seeing high rate of cancer. I explained this one in the breast, just because of the use of mobile phone. It's the same process here, but now it's targeted. Next question.
Yeah, we did have a question from Mariel regarding the coatings of the GANs on the surfaces and whether to do several thin coatings with the GANs and like drying it between coatings and so on, or is one thin coat enough to cover the units?
Depends what you're expecting of, what you want to do. When you have a very thin coat, you touch, you move, you scratch, and one of the best ways to do coating, doesn't matter how you do it, is to take your time. Nanomaterial is like a mushroom. You have to give it time to grow, layers by layer. If you become good in plasma technology, making nanomaterials, especially like the tubes, if you want a specific nano coating here, you don't subject from outside. You create an environment inside that it gives you the nano coating you want. You never touch the outside. You allow the fields to grow, to pressurize this side to become the nanomaterial. This is the way your skin grows, inside out. So to create it, you put it from inside. You can do this with plasma technology very, very easy. You learn, if you start making these pipes, make a pipe to a narrow end, nano-coated. Inside, you don't want to nano-coated, but outside, you create a gradient of the field flow that inside stays nothing, but outside, you nano-coat the way you like, because this layer goes outside. And it's perfect nano-coat. So those of you who are on the teachings, on the private teaching, start learning how to play with plasma. Most of you I see have made the coils and you made the GANs materials. Now start developing what you learned. What I showed you, what I explained to you about the mirror. I explained to you about how to move materials with your thoughts, bring it into operation. Now you have the tools to do it. You should be able easily to produce anything you like with what you've been taught in the past 6-8 weeks. Any other question? It's, I see it's 10 to 5.
Almost time to wrap it up here, right?
Wrap it up. I'm back on Tuesday if there are any questions. If I'm still here, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we have large number of guests that are coming from all over the world to be here. Most probably teaching will be done by some of you. On Tuesday, I might be here to teach, but Wednesday, Thursday, we have people coming from literally all over the world for collaboration, operation of Keshe Foundation. We have people, delegation of Sudan from South America. We have Italian group of the Keshe Foundation here on Friday. And Thursday, we have a bunch of other people coming in for different time before we finish on Friday lunchtime, Friday afternoon. The teaching stops on Friday lunchtime about 12 o'clock, 1, 2 o'clock when we finish. We reopen the teachings on the 18th of January, but Thursday teachings will be carried on. Thursday morning workshops will go through. They'll be all over the world, but still will carry on.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
18th.
You haven't missed a workshop in the last 90 in a row of the Thursday
I missed
workshops.
one in 19 in a row, but God knows where we're going to be this Christmas.
Well, you broadcasted at Christmas and I think at New Year's and every other holiday of all the national religions, I think, as well.
We have no religion, we have no borders, we have no colors. We teach according to what it is. On Monday and Tuesday is one of the most important holidays in Italy. The Italians won't be here, but we'll be here to carry on because they finish on Friday. They take 2 days off. We won't see Giovanni, and the address is San Nicholas, isn't it? San Nicholas. Would you like to explain what it is? Why you're disappearing for 2 days?
No, probably incoming. No, this is the celebration of San Nicholas that all the people know as Santa Claus. He made the miracle of the money that falling from the sky, and for this reason is called Father Christmas. Oh, we waiting. And on Tuesday there is Immacolata. There's the celebration of the Mother of Christ. This is all of Italy. Yeah. No, I can't.
You come, but the rest of Italy is taking holidays. So we got to know that San Nicholas lives here. His house is in Bari. Yes. The bones are here. The Italians stole it from somebody somewhere. They went to Russia, they stole it and they brought it here. And it's actually buried in Bari, not very far from here, Samira. And you can go to the church where he is in the basement. As I said, the Russians, because they believe he was stolen from the Russians, they pray to him on one end because it's the god of the money, and the Italians on one side and the rest on the other side. It's a very nice place. Come on, pay a visit. It's a beautiful place to go. Let's see.
Mr. Keshe, can I ask one quick question at the end here, which is, can Mr. Keshe give a definition for the word plasma? Many translators are having definition wars over the conventional definition versus his definition. I was wondering if you could make a very...
Confusion is the best policy when you don't understand. But make it very clear. Plasma is the gathering, the structure of gravitational magnetic field which can hold on to their own structure across the universe. An atom has a plasma of electron and a proton. The plasma, which has the source from inside out of an electron, can reach every corner of this universe. Does not matter the size. The same with the sun. The sun itself is like a proton compared to the rest of the universe, but every single sun is a source of fields which attracts and releases and expands the whole of the universe.
So obviously the entire universe is filled with plasma.
The universe is made of plasma. Very difficult, but very easy. It's literally a container which has no borders, no barriers. The size of it runs to the universe, and even the plasma of the universe itself in the unicos has its own links. So they're all connected from little to the top.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Have a nice day. I'm not teaching tomorrow, but we have some good teachers tomorrow. If Alex doesn't come, Marco teaches. Yes, I buy you a Jewish hat. You can put it there, nobody can see. His biggest problem is his mold patch.
Well, you can we can send him a Canadian
Anybody?
flag. That works good.
Armand says we can paint it. Pardon? You're waiting for a cap. The most important, one of the most important synagogues out of Israel is in the town you live in, Trani. Yeah, in Trani is one of the most beautiful synagogues of the Jewish community of Italy. Just walk, ask anybody who's in the synagogue, says, can I have one of the cup of the soup, please, for my head? I give it to you freely. I have plans, but I don't know where I left them. So you can teach tomorrow because you learn a lot, you're better in light. We call it the annual teaching of the, what do you call it, the chancellor, the vice chancellor of the University Spaceship Institute. Let him teach. He's escaped for a term. This time we got you. You got yourself into it. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay.
We'll sort something out by tomorrow. Maybe Armand can teach us something tomorrow. No problem. Maybe Armand will be the teacher. If he's not sleeping, he's still in Filipino time. Thank you very much. By the way, I would like to thank you, Renan, and the team, innovation team in the Philippines, who looked after Armand while he was with you for a while. Thank you very much for all your work. I appreciate it.
Okay, great. Thanks, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that wraps it up for the 90th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. This is the afternoon question and answer period for Thursday, December 3rd, 2015. And once again, thank you everybody for attending.